Hi everyone and welcome back to Disc Golf Valley Tips and Tricks, and today we're going to be taking a look at Blueberry Thicket with our brand new account and our new startup discs, and show you how you can 3-star that course. First thing we'll do is probably pop into the practice mode first and take the round in the practice mode and get used to the new discs that we're using in the practice mode before we go for the 3 stars. So Blueberry Thicket, let's hit play. And the discs that we have in our bag, you could probably use several discs here to get it close to the basket. If you're really wanting to try for an ace, the one that you would want is the 10-speed PD. And this disc, there's kind of some pros and cons on this. Because of the attribute that it has, the roll instead of the glide accurate, it does tend to run just a hair short of the basket. And so depending on the wind conditions that you have, it may not even be possible to get an ace with this disc on some of these holes in Blueberry Thicket. But the great thing about it being a roll attribute is that once it does land, it's not going to go very far. It's not going to bounce. It's not going to slide. It's just going to stick the landing. And so there's some pros and cons. But let's see if we can't get an ace. I know that I have gotten an ace with this disc on this hole. So let's see if we can repeat. And we'll bring it down just about there and see how it lands. Well, that's close. You can see it almost makes it. Let's try adjusting our aim just a little bit. Let's move it over our aim just a little bit and try again. And sometimes it helps if you release the disc with just a little bit of a flicker, and that might give it just a little bit more oomph. And you know, it went a little bit right of the basket, but it sure looked like it had the height. Let's try one more time before we move on. Maybe try bringing it down just a little bit. And oh, not quite. But notice how it doesn't go anywhere, and so it's an easy toss-in to get your birdie. Now, it doesn't look like a birdie because we didn't reset, but trust me, 2 throws and it is a birdie. Okay, let's go on to the next hole. The second hole of Blueberry Thicket is just kind of a mirror image of the first hole, just a reverse. So let's try our 10 again and bring it up, see if we can't at least get close to an ace here. And put your aim right about in between those 2 trees somewhere. And put a little bit of a hyzer on it. And no, maybe we put too much of a hyzer. Let's try a rethrow on that. And maybe well, that's getting closer. It looks like what we need to do here is actually put a little bit of an anhyzer on it. Well, somewhere in between there, and you might have a good chance of getting an ace on this hole. But birdies are good too. All right, let's move on. What have we got next? All right, hole 3. Now here is an opportunity where you can actually get an eagle, which will help you in your 3-star run. If you get that in your back pocket, extra point to work with. And there's actually 2 routes that you can go with your Zeus. You can go off to the right or take the shortcut through the back there to your left. Let's maybe show you both ways. Now you have to kind of watch the wind when you go on this hole, because if it's a 3, you need to take close note of the direction, because that's going to really sway your disc a little bit. And so put a little hyzer on this, but not too much of a hyzer or you'll end up in the woods. That's about right there. Oh, we're off into the trees there, but I think we'll be able to have a good line on the basket. When you see something like this, it's not as if these trees are in front of you. They're actually behind you. And so you actually have a clear shot of the basket even though you're seeing some transparent trees. What they're basically trying to imply is that the camera is behind the trees, but you aren't. Okay, so let's switch out to our Sphe. And again, take a note of the wind. Because it is a 3 wind, you need to adjust your aim a little bit more than if it was just a 2 wind. Because when you shoot against the wind like this, the wind is going to lift it up. And if you don't bring the pointer down right to maybe the edge of the basket or even just a little bit below, you're going to either go over the basket or hit the top rim. And we don't want that. So we aim down a little bit and bring it down to the normal and watch for the wobble, and that should do it there. Okay, so that gives us a nice eagle. Let's try again, and this time we'll go down the back way. And if you point it with the Zeus, if you point it right down the center and put just a little bit of a hyzer on it, you should be okay. Is it going to swing around? Swing, 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 swing. Yeah. Will we be able to see the basket? Yeah, I think if we move over a little bit, we will. And with our Sphe, the wind is not quite as strong this time, so we should be okay. But remember, the Sphe does fade just a little bit, so at this distance, 27 meters, we want to make an adjustment for that. And let's see if we can get this. There we go, another eagle. Okay, hole number 4 is another possible ace. I don't get this ace very often, but it is possible. What we want to do is switch to a forehand. We want our 10 speed. We want to bring our aim up about here, and then depending on the direction and speed of the wind, you'll make an adjustment as to how much hyzer or anhyzer you put on it, and you'll get a better feel for this as you play this hole more. Let's try that. Yeah, no, it's just a little bit off. Let's try it again and just put a little bit more on it. Yeah, it comes up short. Like I say, this is not the disc I would usually use to try and ace this hole, but it is nice that it lands and doesn't go anywhere. So there's trade-offs. But let's just go ahead and finish off here. What you really want is the 10-speed glide. All right, here we are on hole number 5, and this is a great hole because no matter what you do, you're still going to come away with a birdie. No matter how hard you pound it in, you can just drive it in to that basket, attempting your ace, and if you miss, it's no problem because the hill behind the basket catches it. As we look at our bag, what should we use? The 5 is not going to make it to the basket. It's fine for a layup if that's all you want to do, but if you're trying for an ace, you're going to either need the 7 or the 10. Let's maybe try the 7. But it's too much disc in itself as well. And so we need to compensate. We'll aim right down there, say in the middle of the blueberry bush, and I would say put a half hyzer on it. For some reason, on this hole, even though this disc does fade to the right or the left, on this hole you have to have a half hyzer on it. And no, not quite. But you can see that that's close enough. If you practice that a little bit in the different winds, you should be able to get fairly good at getting an ace on this hole. All right, hole number 6 is a good chance to get another ace with the Sphe. And what I usually do is take my aiming device and bring the first chevron down to the water's edge there. And depending on how much wind we're looking at, I might adjust it. And with a one wind from left to right, I'd probably try right about there. And then as you're pulling it down, just bring it down to the second line there. And then watch your wobble, and then give it a try. Not quite what we were looking for. Can try again. Maybe move it over just a little bit and try. It's that wobble that gets you. So that was just a little strong. Try one more time. And this time we won't pull it down quite to the second line and see if we can't get this. Whoa. Well, at least you see how it is possible to shoot for the ace, and occasionally you will get it. Oh, here's another chance at an ace. This blueberry thicket does give you lots of chances. Whether or not you come away with an ace or not, or two or three, is going to depend a lot on your skill level. And by the way, I'm not claiming to be a pro at this game. In my ratings, I'm somewhere semi-pro, I guess. But what I like to say is, if I can do it, you can do it too. And so if I show you how to get an ace, you should be able to get that ace as well. All right, so with your pointer aimed somewhere right in the middle of those trees, maybe up just a little bit, let's put a little bit of anhyzer on this and see what we do in this wind condition. Oh, doesn't quite make it. And let's put just a hair on. Well, you get the idea. Again, we're just a little short with this 10-speed PD for some of these. On this, I would probably just be fine again with the 10-speed. Put your pointer way at the top of the hill. Put a little bit of a hyzer on it. It's better to be to the right of this basket than to be on the left. So what to do at this point? 9 meters, normally you could just toss this in with a putt. But because it's uphill, I find that if I putt from here, I sometimes don't make it. So I prefer, even at a 9 meters, to go backhand on this. And we'll use the Svei and point your pointer right near the top rim of the basket. Whenever you're shooting up, it's a good idea to point the pointer right at the top rim of the basket. But then just pull back to the first line again like normal, and in it goes. One last hole here. Well, this is an interesting hole. Yeah, when you first start playing the game, you usually end up in the forest. But the trick to do it is to get your 10, bring your pointer up into the sky here, and depending on the wind, you might put a hyzer on it about like this, but if it's a stronger wind, you might go a little bit, depending on the direction of the wind. This is where you'll take a little time to learn just where you should put this hyzer, but in this speed, we should be able to just come very close to the basket. It is actually possible to ace this. Sometimes the disc goes right in, but usually you just get close enough to get your birdie. Okay, so there's the practice run on this. And so let's just now go get our 3 stars. Retire. And let's get out of this. Go to Challenge the Valley. Blueberry Thicket. And hit play. Now that you know how to do it, it should be fairly easy to get your 3 stars. close. But that only counts in horseshoes. All right. Next hole. Let's see if we can't pick up our eagle here. Wow. All right, center and boom. That helps. And, all right, hole number 5. Let's go get our 7 Explorer disc and see if we can't pull off an ace here. Nope, too much. Ooh. That would have been nice. But no worries, I think we'll still get it. Sometimes when it bounces off there, it goes way down the hill. We don't like that. 6 meters, because again we're shooting uphill. This is a tough call. I think I'll toss it. Whew, makes it. That's a little better. When you're up on the hill, you can usually just toss it in. It's when you're at the base of this hill that you really want to switch to a throw in. And one last hole here with our 10 speed. Pop it up into the sky here. Pull back about a half a hyzer and you should be good. I really kind of like this 10 speed. What is it? A PD, yeah. I love the way it just lands and stops. Okay, 13. I think I'll go with the backhand, and we're done. Finish and get our experience points, our coins, plus our rewards. So we got 3 new discs to work with here. We are now getting accurate discs, so that's a help. Unfortunately, the Explorer and the 5-speed that we already have is probably still better, so I don't think we'll end up using these discs. But we're getting closer to those courses where we will be able to start bagging some of those discs that you get as a reward for getting your 3 stars. All right, well, that does it for our Blueberry Thicket video, and we'll see you next time here as we get our 3 stars on Oak Hill. So long for today. We'll see you next time here at Disc Valley Tips and Tricks. So long for now.